No prison is more confining than the lies we tell ourselves. Imagine waking up one morning, the world around you unchanged. Same bed, same walls, same faint hum of life beyond your window. But something feels wrong, like a splinter lodged in your mind. You go through your routine, coffee, mirror, the fleeting glance at your reflection. But today, you pause. Who is that, staring back? Not the you you've built in your head, the one you've polished and presented to the world, but someone else. Someone raw, uncertain, maybe even afraid. And in that moment, a question burns through the fog of habit. What if the life you're living is built on lies you've told yourself? You shake it off. Of course it's not true. You know who you are. You've got your goals, your values, your story. But the question lingers, doesn't it? Like a shadow that moves when you do, always there, just out of sight. What if the beliefs you cling to, the ones that define your choices, your fears, your dreams, are illusions? Not malicious deceptions, but quiet, insidious ones you've crafted to feel safe, to feel certain, to feel whole. What if the truth is that you're not who you think you are? And worse, what if you've known this all along but buried it beneath layers of comfortable denial? This isn't about the lies others tell you, society, media, or even those closest to you. No, this is about the lies you whisper to yourself in the dark, the ones you repeat so often they feel like truth. I'm not good enough. I'm in control. I'll be happy when... These aren't just thoughts, they're chains. And the paradox is brutal. The more you believe them, the further you drift from the life you could live. Why do you do this? Why do you build a cage and call it freedom? The answer lies deeper than you think, in the hidden corners of your psyche, where fear and desire collide. Let's step into that darkness together, because what you find there might just change everything. You've felt it before, haven't you? That quiet dissonance when your life seems to hum along, but something gnaws at you. A sense that you're playing a role you didn't choose. The lies you tell yourself aren't loud or obvious. They're woven into the fabric of your thoughts, so familiar they feel like old friends. But these friends are traitors, born from a collision of your psyche's deepest fears and the world's relentless demands. To understand why you cling to them, you need to dig into the roots, psychological, philosophical, and brutally human. Carl Jung called it the shadow, the parts of yourself you refuse to see. You tell yourself you're kind, driven, or just fine. But beneath that polished surface lurk doubts, desires, and truths you've banished. Why? Because facing them feels like staring into an abyss. Jung warned that ignoring the shadow doesn't make it disappear. It festers, shaping your choices in ways you barely notice. You say, I'm not ready for that dream, but it's your shadow whispering, you're not worthy. You believe the lie because it's safer than the truth. Then there's Nietzsche, who saw humanity's obsession with comfort as a kind of self-deception. He argued you create myths, like, I need to fit in, or success will save me, to avoid the chaos of your own freedom. You're not just lying to feel safe. You're lying to dodge the terrifying responsibility of defining your own existence. Society amplifies this, feeding you scripts about who you should be. From childhood, you're conditioned to seek approval, to measure your worth by external markers, grades, likes, promotions. These aren't truths, they're traps. And yet, you comply. Why? Because the alternative, questioning everything, feels like unraveling. Sartre's existential dread comes to mind. You're free to choose, But that freedom is heavy, so you build lies to lighten the load. I'm too busy. This is just how life is. Each one buries you deeper, distancing you from the raw, untamed truth of who you could be. The problem isn't just that you lie. It's that these lies are stealing your life, one quiet compromise at a time. But what happens when they start to crack? Picture your life as a house you've built, brick by brick, with every choice, every belief. Now imagine that the foundation, those lies you tell yourself, is crumbling. You don't see it at first. The walls still stand, the roof holds, but the cracks are there, spreading silently. And the consequences of your self-deception are reshaping your reality in ways you never expected. These lies don't just sit in your mind. They ripple outward, distorting how you live, love, and dream. Psychologically, your brain is complicit. Cognitive biases like the confirmation bias trick you into seeking evidence that supports your lies. You tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," and suddenly, every failure feels like proof, while successes are dismissed as flukes. Neurologically, your brain rewards this. Dopamine spikes when you cling to familiar patterns, even harmful ones, because familiarity feels safe. You're wired to prefer the comfort of a known lie over the uncertainty of truth. But this comes at a cost. You stagnate, trapped in a loop of self-sabotage. On a societal level, the consequences are even darker. Aldous Huxley warned of a world where people willingly trade freedom for comfort, numbed by distraction. Your lies, "I need to keep up," "I'll be happy when I have more," align perfectly with a culture that profits from your discontent. You chase external validation, not because it fulfills you, but because you've been conditioned to believe it will. The result? A life spent running toward goals that aren't yours, while your true desires atrophy in the shadows. And then there's the personal toll. Relationships fray because you hide your authentic self, afraid it's not enough. Opportunities slip away because you believe, "I'm not ready." Worst of all, you lose trust in yourself. Each lie erodes your ability to discern truth, leaving you adrift in a fog of doubt. The stakes are higher than you think. These lies aren't just shaping your present, they're stealing your future. But what if you could see through the fog? What if the cracks in your foundation were an invitation to build something new? You're standing at the edge of a cliff, the wind sharp against your skin, the lies you've told yourself echoing like a chorus in your mind. But something shifts. A spark of defiance ignites. What if you stopped believing them? What if you tore down the walls you've built and stepped into the unknown? This is the rebellion, a radical act of reclaiming your mind, your truth, your life. Breaking free from self-deception isn't easy, but it's possible. And it starts with a single courageous choice: to see the lies for what they are. First, you must confront your shadow, as Carl Jung urged. Stop running from the parts of yourself you've buried, your fears, your shame, your unspoken dreams. Try this. Sit in silence and ask, what am I afraid to admit? Write the answers, no matter how raw. This isn't about judgment, it's about excavation. One person who did this was Viktor Frankl, who, even in the horrors of a concentration camp, found meaning by facing his inner truths. His rebellion was refusing to let despair define him. You can do the same, starting with one honest question. Next, challenge the script society fed you. Nietzsche's call to become who you are means rejecting external measures of worth. Stop saying, "I need to be successful to matter." Instead, define success on your terms. Try a thought experiment. Imagine your life without others' expectations. What would you do? Who would you be? This rewires your mind, loosening the grip of lies like, "I'm not enough." History is full of rebels who did this. Think of Thoreau, who abandoned society's rules to live deliberately by Walden Pond. Finally, act against your lies. If you believe, "I'm too broken to change," take one small step to prove yourself wrong. Start a project, forgive someone, or simply rest without guilt. Each action chips away at the lie, building a new truth. You are capable. The rebellion is messy, non-linear, but every step forward is a victory. You're not just breaking free, you're becoming. And what awaits on the other side is more powerful than you can imagine. You've clawed through the lies, faced the shadow, and begun to rebuild. But there's one final truth waiting. A revelation so profound it reshapes everything you thought you knew. It's not just that the lies you told yourself were false. It's that they were never yours to begin with. They were borrowed, inherited, imposed by a world that thrives on your self-doubt. The ultimate truth is this: you are not the lies, nor the roles, nor the fears they birthed. You are something vast, undefined, and fiercely alive. A being capable of creating meaning from chaos. Jean-Paul Sartre said, "Existence precedes essence." You are not born with a fixed identity. You forge it through your choices. The lies, "I'm not enough," "I must please others," were chains you accepted because they gave structure to the terrifying freedom of being human. But strip them away, and what remains? A raw, untamed potential. This is what Schopenhauer missed in his grim view of desire, what Huxley feared we'd lose in a numbed world. You are not a product of your past or your culture. You are a creator, and every moment is a chance to redefine your reality. This realization is both liberating and haunting. Liberating, because it means you can let go of the guilt, the shame, the need to prove yourself. Haunting, because it demands you take responsibility for your life. No more blaming circumstances or others. The lies kept you small, but the truth makes you boundless. Look at Dostoevsky's Raskolnikov in Crime and Punishment. He unraveled under the weight of his self-deceptions, but found redemption when he embraced his capacity for change. You can too. So, stand in front of that mirror again. See the person staring back, not as a collection of flaws or achievements, but as a spark of the infinite. Ask yourself, what will I create today? The lies are gone, or at least they're fading. What remains is you, raw, real, and ready to live. Step into that truth. The world is waiting, and so are you.